everywhere. I could have ended up just like that broken road with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I could have known would have kept me from the one I love today.
Good morning. Hello.
One street over there's a life I could have known.
This is
Things
One
aren't
Street
all
Hi, this is Stephen Burwell with Authentic.
One street over from where I live. That's what we're trying to find out here, is what's going on. And if you're normally join me on my Facebook page, I had to share the one from the radio station because for some reason we're not able to connect via my Facebook page this morning, but I did share the page from WSGI. So we'll go ahead and we should be fine there. You should be able to see that without any kind of interruption if you're normally a social media watcher. So welcome to it. And maybe, you know, my own personal social media will decide to pick up and work. But for some reason, it's not working this morning. So we always love it when that happens. Abigail, you say your last name. You've got a
Sacic.
Sacic. You've got married.
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And that's wonderful. Sacic. What is the origin of that name? Do you know what is it like? Oh.
My husband's from Bosnia.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's a trip. Okay, that's fun. How neat is that? That is really cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Newlywed and all that fun stuff. But the reason why Abigail is here today, it's been a minute since I've had you in. Because I think the last time, because y'all kind of go on a rotation. You guys kind of take turns kind of coming in. And so, and she works with the Veteran Service Office. And, you know, so it's like y'all kind of rotate out. And I think the last time it was your turn was one of the days I was off, maybe. I don't know. I think.
I was also out of town a couple times.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I haven't seen you in here in a while. So Gwen messaged me and said you were coming in. I'm like, well, that's great. So we'll just have all kinds of fun things to talk about.
Yeah.
So you love your job, right?
Absolutely.
I know. Well, and we talk about our Veteran Service Office and we brag on it a lot because we are so special here in Robertson County. We have got a Veteran Service Office like no other. And I mean, to the point that we have gotten awards across the state. I mean, it has just been, it has been acknowledged that we have got an office that's just hands down one of the best.
We like to think so.
Well, I mean, you've gotten the accolades for that, and it's been really fascinating to see how it's grown. You know, from the first times that I met, you know, Terry years ago when we first started doing this, and just to see the growth that it's had has been really phenomenal. And you come from it, you kind of were raised in it.
Oh, I was, yeah.
See, and I think that's fascinating because she grew up, your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So tell us that story. Tell us that story. And I'm going to see if I can reconnect my social media, but go ahead and tell us that story.
Sure. So I started with veterans groups and volunteering in Cheatham County.
Right.
Right. And I was about 12 when I started doing that.
How in the world how did that work at 12?
Well, my family would attend the meetings, and so I would just be along for the ride, and the volunteering just kind of happens naturally from like just being there and serving while you're there.
Okay.
So 12 years old, and
That's
then
funny.
I finish school or whatever, and then my first job was working as an admin assistant at Cheatham County Veteran Services because of my background with veterans.
Okay.
Going to the meetings and stuff. I knew everybody already.
I got you.
So it was really easy to just slip in. And my mom worked at the Cheatham County VSO at the time. So I was just kind of working with my mom.
Right.
And then she moved to the state level and I moved up into her position. And it was,
There you go.
There we go. And now
And
I'm a
then
veteran service officer.
Yeah, and then they stole you and brought you over here, right?
Kind of.
Kind of.
Well, Robertson County is a bigger county, so it was just a lateral move, but
Gotcha.
bumped up a little. Yeah.
I got you. Well, that's cool, and we're tickled to have you. And I know I've heard just all kinds of amazing reports about the work that you do. Oh, and by the way, we were able to connect. I don't know why it finally worked. So we are officially on both of the Facebook pages now. You can watch the show if you're normally with us. And I'm sorry for those who normally just get it on my social media. We had some tech issues with Facebook this morning, so it finally decided to play nice. But Abigail Sacic
Sacic.
is with us this morning, and she is one of our veteran service officers here in Robertson County, and just amazing job. And she was just talking about her heritage in this and how, you grew up in this because this is what your mom does, and then it is, you started at 12 helping veterans. What caused the love for veterans with you? I mean, do you have the background in your family, or how did your mom get involved? Because that's the start of your journey. So
Right.
what happened there?
Well, we have extended family, uncles, grandpas, that, like everyone, you have
Right.
that history
Yeah,
of
yeah.
veterans. My dad isn't, but it is like just in the family.
Right. Absolutely, for sure. And, that's the thing. It's like with my love for veterans, people know my story. We had a hired hand from the time that I was a little kid. I mean, I don't remember life as a child with Kenneth not being around. And when Kenneth got drafted, Kenneth Pease, into the Army, coming right out of high school, it was during that era, in the 60s. And I remember being so proud of him and just like, and I mean, it just seemed like he had barely stepped off the farm and he had gotten killed in Vietnam. And that's one of my first memories. And so that just, gets you right there. And it's just carried with me forever. And so I get teared up, man, because I remember that as my first childhood memory.
That's close to home.
Yeah, it's my first childhood memory is Vietnam and Kenneth and all of that thing. Probably the reason why I did not sign up to serve in the military is because I was scared to death of the military because I had seen so much tragedy through the Vietnam era. And I was a big old chicken. I wasn't brave at all when I was young. I am now, but back then I just didn't. I'm so thankful that one of my sons served. So thankful to have a veteran in the family because it just feels right. I wish we were like Israel, that we all served. I just wish. I truly. I don't think we appreciate our country and the blood that has been shed for us and the freedoms that people just don't get it, and it just drives me out of my mind. Let me just say this real while we're on the subject of Vietnam. I normally have the honor of hosting the Vietnam Veterans Day that they have down here at Memorial Gardens. I am the assistant track coach now at Greenbrier, and we have a track meet that day, so I can't be there. No, but it's even better. Brian Wilson is going to be there, and that's a big deal. I mean, Brian is, if you don't know his resume and all he has done in media, his 50 years in media, in broadcasting, and his beautiful wife, Dawn, they're going to be there, which I was so thrilled that Lee Marie was able to work that out because you've heard my story. You've heard my story like 3-4 years now. You need to hear other stories. And she comes from a family that has a lot of Vietnam veterans. And I'm not sure, I guess Brian does too, but that's going to be a treat having Brian and Dawn there. So, I'm sorry I can't be there, but I'm so thrilled they were able to get Brian. So please, 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 that is the last Saturday in March that is happening. And she'll tell you, we'll talk more about it, but I just wanted to kind of plant that seed to save the date and get there because Brian has retired out of broadcasting after 50 years. And so it's fun to hear from people like him that have had such an awesome experience in his career. So just kind of leave that with you. But so it's so interesting to hear your background and because you're a youngin'. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Yeah, so you've been to the fact that you've been at this so long, but you're still so young, is just beautiful because you've got a long career ahead of you.
Yeah, all combined, I have about 5 years experience working in veteran services.
As an adult,
Yes.
because you haven't lived as a kid,
Paid work.
Yeah, I gotcha. Because there, we all have our life experiences. Some of my best life experiences that taught me about employment and work and all that are the ones I got when I was growing up on the farm as a kid. So no, those young life experiences, in your teen years,
Very formative.
Absolutely. Now you're not going to be moving off to Canada. Your husband's from Canada. We're not going to lose you, are we?
No.
He's coming to the States.
He's going to move here, yeah.
Good. Well, that's good news to hear. So, but well, do you feel like that you're in the career you want for a lifetime? Pretty close.
Something like that.
Something
Yeah,
to
definitely.
because you're young,
Something
and I mean,
serving,
yeah,
that
yeah.
that realm is definitely where I want to stay.
But you want people that are really called to serve veterans, and that's what we need in our
Mm-hmm.
veterans service office. So, that's a little bit about Abigail. I just want to kind of unpack that because I tell everybody when you come in here, it's not just to hear the facts. I want to know about you. I mean, we're sitting on the porch just talking.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity for people to know a little bit about the person who is providing these services. And that matters. And it changes everything. And to know you have a heart for it and you were raised up in it, it just helps people to know they can trust you and that you're going to.
We do care.
Absolutely.
We absolutely care.
Well, and I talk to you guys all the time about, just Scott and Gwen will come in here and talk about the hours that go into some of these
Oh, yeah.
these claims that have to, you have so many veterans who've been so frustrated that they've been with other offices or maybe they've tried to maneuver the avenues
own.
themselves
Yep.
and they get so frustrated. And you need that experience to help people navigate these waters because what's the dollar amount that has been brought into the county? Do you have that figure?
If I remember correctly, it's around $50 million, something like that.
That's incredible.
52.
The amount of money that has been brought in for veterans to help them through because of the help that's been brought in through the Veteran Service Office. It's staggering. And I mean, number one, it's to help and honor these veterans, that have come home injured. That came home with problems. We talk a lot about the Agent Orange exposure because it's so prevalent.
It is.
But all the, any kind, I mean, we had the burn pits and all of those things.
Getting way more of those.
Oh my goodness. And all kinds of things. My son, when he was in Afghanistan, I mean, just the things that he was exposed to, his hearing was damaged so much because he was infantry.
Oh, yeah.
With the big guns and his hearing. I mean, he's a young guy and his hearing shot.
Yep.
And it's because they didn't really have the proper ear protection, but you just don't think about that.
Or they're not encouraged to wear it.
Yeah, in the proper
No one's checking
way.
on that.
No. But, and I think they had some that was considered that it just didn't do the job that they had. And, but nonetheless, it's nice that, when I was growing up, they did not take care of the veterans. They were ridiculed. It was such a problem. And now to see them honored and taken care of in the way, it's about time. That's what I always say. It's about time.
Yes.
And I'm just very thankful that we have such a wonderful office. So where do you want to start as far as the things you've got going on that people need to know about?
Well, I have the calendar here. I don't know when you want to go through that.
Okay.
But this is the American Legion calendar.
Okay.
And then we always just want to point out the fact that where we are,
Okay.
because we have moved.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Start with that.
We just in August, so we've been there, 6-7 months now?
Yeah.
Yeah. We moved to the new Plaza building, the Roberts County Plaza. It's right directly behind on the hill, the county building where you get your car tags and property taxes, all that good stuff. So we're there now. We still have people that completely not forget, but they just don't know that we're there. And honestly, word of mouth is the biggest draw. Like they hear about us, their buddy, their uncle, I get those all the time, especially the young ones that don't know to come to us and come to us quickly after their discharge because they have a year to, you can file a claim at any point, but if you're within a year, then you get that presumed to be caused by service situation. So we encourage guys to come in.
You just get evaluated and see if there's anything.
Just to, get established with us. We can look at the file, we can explain how it works and if there's anything that they want to claim. It's way easier if you do it quickly after you get out.
And I'm really thankful that my son got some advice early on when because they have a good service office out in Clarksville, because he came out and went straight into college through the GI Bill and went straight into school. And so he had some really good advice on the very front end that got him on the right path to doing what he needed to do. So he's he's definitely had some good guides along the way.
That's good.
But a lot of these guys, they come out and they you give your life over in such a way. It's so weird watching him when he was in the service. And number one, realizing how little they compensate soldiers. Now, everybody's like, well, they get free room and board. No, they don't. They take that out of their pay. They do. When he was living on base,
Yikes.
yeah, they took out money for his room and board. And I mean, that's mess hall, whether he used it or not. And it just blew my mind. Now, he made more money when he was in Afghanistan, of course, but still just nothing. And, and then to have to come out with issues and things like that, absolutely. They need to know what kind of benefits they have moving forward. And so I'm thankful he had some really good guides. But, you get a lot of kids. I've had friends of his that I've seen that will talk to them, and they come out and they just kind of feel lost because there's such a structure in the military. And then they come out and they try to acclimate to life without somebody telling them every minute what to do.
Yep.
And maybe a lot of them,
challenging.
just like my son, went into the military because they needed that real direct discipline. I mean,
Structure.
it was something he needed desperately in his life, and it was perfect. I mean, it just could not have gone better for him.
That's good.
But it just was exactly what he needed. But so many need that structure, and then they come out, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay.
Now what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it may be that. It may not be that they've got, any kind of issue from service, but they just need somebody to kind of help guide them. And you can help them with that too, right?
Yeah, we definitely have the resources.
Yeah.
I mean, our main job is the benefit side.
Sure.
But if it's something like education or the employment program, like we can definitely direct them where they need to, help them get started, get them in touch with who they need. Like we are resources.
Yeah.
We have the resources, and that's why we definitely encourage people to come in, and especially just to
see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to get that establishment. And it's also too, as you get older and you get to, like me, I'm in the latter years of my life. That's a weird thing to say, but it's just the truth. I'm 62. I've talked a lot with Terry about this, and Gwen and Scott. We've talked about the fact that if you want to have military service once you pass, you need to do that way early, and you need to have all that because you don't want your family. If God forbid you die in an untimely way, maybe earlier than you think, and they really want you to have a military honors service, burial, whatever, takes time to get it together.
It's easier to start when you don't need it.
You better believe it. And it's not something anybody wants to think about, but because if you do want to be buried in a military cemetery, you've got to get that done early. Wouldn't you say? I mean, that's not something that takes a while, right?
You can do it after they pass, but it's way easier to do the pre-registration process when you're alive.
Yeah.
And you can do that as young as you want to.
And two, what is the paper that tells all the details of your military service? What
the DD-214?
Yes, that thing. I can imagine there's people that have military people in their family have no idea where that is or even what that is because their soldier doesn't talk about it. And that's especially some of the older soldiers that are, because I wonder, we've got, family members, and I wonder if they've done those things to make sure that they can have we've got some really strong veterans in our family. And I'm like, I hope they've taken care of that so they can be properly honored when they pass because they've earned it.
Yeah.
They
have. And that's all we want. We want them to get what they deserve.
Yeah.
And so many think that they don't
I came home with everything, so I came home on my parts and pieces. That's what they like to say.
Yep.
I'm fine because unfortunately, I mean,
or that there's guys that have it worse than me.
That's right.
I don't need it, or I don't want it.
And the way they have got it set up in the programs now. It is a benefit if you file because that helps register that there was a problem or there was something going on to help others that might be in worse case than you, and you're helping their claim.
Yes.
Even because if you can set a precedence, then it's not just one person. It's like, okay, there's So it's better if you do.
That's the only way that VA can create more laws.
Yeah.
Like to get them passed by Congress, there has to be like a certain number that all have
Yeah.
the same issue.
Exactly.
And that's how they prove, like, oh, that was caused
Those
by
burn
Agent
pits
Orange.
were a problem.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. Well, Agent Orange is not even a question, but some of this stuff in latter years,
Oh, yes.
you know, and
I mean, Agent Orange, they're still making laws.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
The big thing with Agent Orange, if you have not realized, it is in your DNA. And if you had somebody, this is one of the things that just blows my mind. There was a lady that out of Vanderbilt I've heard speak a few times, and she's written some books. But she talks about how that if you had children after the war, after you served in Vietnam, your children are having issues.
It can. Yeah.
And there's been multiple cases of that. And it's something that if you had kids post-Vietnam, that you need to really keep an eye on those kiddos because
Personally, I think that there's a lot of issues they don't know about in the kids. Right now, there's only one issue that VA recognizes, spina bifida. But
really,
yeah,
okay,
there's only the one at the moment. And that's why it's important to like keep tabs on what the issues are, because I think there's more rare conditions that are going to come out.
okay.
That's my personal belief anyway.
Bottom line is, if you're a veteran, if you know a veteran, if you love a veteran, if you see a veteran, ask them, have you ever visited your veteran service office? That's something I will ask. I'll see somebody with a hat on. I'll be like, thank you for your service. I'll say, do you have a relationship with your veteran service office? And I will have those conversations with them. And here in Robertson County, I can very easily point them to you guys. Okay. You know, and I've had that conversation out of county, like up in Mayfield, you know, when I've been home, especially when my mama was alive and I was up there a little more often. A couple of times we'd be out, you know, and there was a guy that had a Vietnam hat on, and I was asking him about his veteran service office in Agent Orange, and he just hadn't done anything. And he actually knew Kenneth, my friend that died.
Oh.
And I was just sitting there talking to him, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I guarantee you there was stuff going on with him. And you could just tell. You could just tell he wasn't in great health.
Right.
And I told him, I said, man, you need to reach out to your veteran service offices, because I said there's a lot of benefits for you guys. And you really need to check it out. Anyway, Abigail Sacic. Sacic?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to get it. Is with us, and she is with our Veteran Service Office here in Robertson County, talking about all the things going on in their office. First and foremost, they've moved. They're in the new plaza. We talked about this yesterday with Mayor Billy Vogel was in here because you're there. He's in the same building.
Right across the hall.
Yes, and so he was bragging on y'all's palatial accommodations now, and y'all have come a long way.
Oh,
Because when Terry first started coming in here and talking about it, you guys were in a little cubbyhole closet-like office
Greenbrier.
up in Greenbrier in the back of the city hall or something up there. I don't even know.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Or the police station or something. There was a back room, because I remember going up there and taking some flags. That's one thing. You can drop flags off with them that you want to retire. Because if you see an American flag, even the little ones, guys, don't throw those in the trash. I've about lost my mind when people will throw a flag in the trash. I'm like, because it'll be like a little thing, you know. But I'm like, no, don't do that. And I have taken flags to him, and that's the first time I went up to see him in that little office. I'm like, there's a tiny little place. But it wasn't long until you guys were able to move up to the building where we get the tags. And then 6 months ago, then you were able to move across to the new plaza. So that's wonderful. What days are you there? Because that's something that's changing.
It is going to change come
Right.
May.
Okay.
We do have a date for that.
Okay. So when's that happen?
May-
What are the hours going to be?
Okay, May 5th, our hours are going to change. Our hours aren't changing. The days we're in office are changing.
Okay.
So our goal is to keep the office open there 5 days a week.
Right.
But Scott and I, as the VSOs, still need our day for research and such, which is way easier to do remotely.
Yeah.
We don't have office distraction and such.
Yep.
And like you said, there are hours that go into certain cases. So May 5th, our office hours are changing so that we're going to be open 8 to 4:30
Okay.
Monday through Friday. Now, Scott and I will alternate what day he and I are there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take one day remote a week each. So,
Well, and simply because I know I can get so much more work done when I don't have anybody bothering me at school. Because when people are there and students are there and interruptions, even during my planning time, constant interruptions. I love days when I'm at school. I can carve out a day and I'm there all by myself, or even just at my house all by myself, just working on stuff without the distractions. It's just the difference between night and day. So I can totally understand that.
Our goal is to have Scott have one day at home to do his stuff and me have one day at home. I think right now we're planning to do, I'll be remote on Fridays and he'll be remote on Mondays.
Okay.
But we'll still have the office open.
So will Gwen be there every day?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. Okay. Because Gwen is the one she is a VSO as well.
Yes, she's accredited, but she is admin assistant.
Okay. So that's the thing. And so she has gone through the training, but she's more trying to set the appointments, answer the phones, and doing all those kinds of things.
And it is a necessary position.
You better believe it is. And she loves it. She loves it. We love to tell the story about that job. It was so funny because Terry had been in, and you may have heard this. I don't know if she told you this, because she was looking for something. You know, she was looking for a new gig, and she'd been at one company for a long time, and they had some layoffs. And Terry came in and had mentioned it. And I thought, man, that'd be perfect for Gwen, because Gwen, if you don't know her, she is, her dad was in the military. She spent time in her childhood in Japan. And so she was very, very familiar with the military lifestyle and coming out of a military family. And it was like he had mentioned it, and I forgot to call her and tell her. And it was like the last day to apply, and I remembered, and I was like, you've got to do this right now, because he's got to have your application today.
Yep.
And it was so funny. She's like, way to go, LaVern, my friend. But she ended up, I mean, I knew she was perfect for it as soon as I heard it, and it was one of those things that slipped my mind.
That was so similar to what I went through.
Really?
Because I was off from Cheatham for health reasons and such for nearly almost a year.
Yeah.
Okay? It was like 9 months or something.
Right.
And I was working just a summer job,
Yeah.
how you do. And I was, only 20 what. So
Just a kid.
just a kid.
Yeah. 25. You're still a kid, but anyway.
Oh, thanks.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
But I was working a summer job as I was looking for something more permanent and settled.
Right.
And having the experience at Cheatham, I was, looking in the veteran services realm.
Sure.
And it was, that's where my experience is. So I'm trying to get back into it. And then lo and behold, Terry's retiring soon.
Yeah.
And I already knew Terry because I had worked at Cheatham office and he's been here for so long. So I was emailing with Terry and he was like, you have one day to do this.
Oh, how funny.
And I was like, you got it. Yes, sir. I will
How
be there.
funny. That's hysterical.
So I dropped my resume off with Scott on my way to my summer job.
That is hysterical. So you and Gwen pretty much got brought in exactly the same way.
Very
and
similar.
Isn't that just funny how God just maneuvers things?
Oh,
and
yeah,
just,
it
it was just a perfect fit.
It was meant to be.
It really was, because y'all are a great team. I mean, you really are. I just think y'all all just speak so highly of each other and the perfect fit that y'all have and what y'all
We
do.
work
And
really well together.
yeah, and the fact that you, again, just love our veterans in such a way that you take care of them. So we're talking with Abigail Sacic. This is the day on the fourth Wednesday. We like to talk to our Veteran Service Office and just make sure people are aware of they're there, the services they offer. If you know a veteran, love a veteran, you are a veteran, you need to have a relationship with your Veteran Service Office just to make sure you are properly being cared for. It is something you have earned, and we want you to have these services. So you do keep a calendar because there's a lot of events coming up. We mentioned Vietnam Veterans Day, which is the last Saturday in March. Brian Wilson and Dawn Wilson are going to be your hosts. I don't know if Dawn's actually participating, but I know Brian will, as a host. But Lee Marie was telling me she has a lot of family that served in Vietnam, so maybe she will. But Brian, if you're not familiar with him, he just recently retired from radio from 99.7, has an amazing resume, was on a Fox News correspondent for many, many years, was actually in Washington, D.C. on 9/11. If you've never heard that story, on 9/11.
Wow.
Yes, he was there. And that's an amazing story, but just a great guy, and you will really be blessed. I'm so thrilled that they were able to get him since I can't be there that day, but I'll be with you in spirit, and it will be up here at Memorial Gardens. What is the time on that? Do you know what time that's going to start?
Ooh, I think the ceremony right now I have noon. I'm not sure.
Okay, that sounds about right. That sounds
It's going to
about
be in the
right.
afternoon like that, so I'm not sure exactly.
Well, and we will have a memorial type thing on Friday night I think it's going to be in the chapel, isn't it?
Probably it's going to be the name reading.
Yeah,
It'll
of
be at
all the
6, I believe.
and then that's going to be, I think, in the chapel on Friday night, and I'm going to be there for that. So, and I think we're having kiddos from schools read those names this year.
Really?
I
That's so
think
cool.
that's what they're working on, and that's been the plan. But it's going to be really special. But my plan is to be there on Friday night since I can't be there on Saturday. But
Before that, there's going to be the meet and greet from
Yeah.
3 to 5 and dinner at the Holiday Inn across
Okay.
the road.
yeah, so it's just it's just a couple of days of bringing these veterans together and just the camaraderie, and of course they'll be putting up a new centograph. Is that what they call those things? The
Cenotaph?
of names that they'll be adding to it, and so that's always so special. And there's people come in from all over the country to do this because there's not many places where your loved ones can be honored that came home from Vietnam that have had to deal with the struggles. Just coming home from Vietnam was difficult because of the way they were treated, and so to have a special place where they can be honored
There
is just wonderful. And this is one of the only ones I know of. There are a few. There's some that you don't have to be Agent Orange connected. Now, if you're somebody that has had problems from Agent Orange, you can have the Orange Heart Medal that's there on the name as well. But if you're somebody that not just that you served and you came home and you just,
You
know,
were there, yeah.
yeah, you were there, you can have your
During
name
the
on this.
Vietnam
And
era.
yeah, and that's amazing. And I
if
just
you
think
were
it's so
exposed
cool.
to Agent Orange, you get the heart next to your name
Yes.
with the orange heart.
Yeah, for sure. So it's really special. But again, there'll be people from all over the country. It's just a beautiful thing. It's just a beautiful ceremony always. So we encourage you to be a part of that. But what else do you have on your calendar?
Well, that's the big one at the
Right.
end of the month.
Right.
I have the whole March calendar if you
Right,
want to go
right,
through
right.
it.
Yeah.
The American Legion has their monthly membership meeting on the first Tuesday. So that's the 4th. And then the Riders meeting is on the second Saturday, which
What does that mean? The riders meeting.
that's the motorcycle group.
Oh, the
I don't-
riders.
yeah,
I
the
thought you meant
Riders.
WRITERS. Riders. RIDERS. Don't you love the American language? Don't you love English? Don't you love English? It's just
Oh, yeah.
riders or riders? Riders or riders?
We're from Tennessee. It's the same.
Oh. Anyway, so motorcycle riders.
Yeah, that's
Riders meeting. And
They
when is
meet
that?
up at 8 o'clock in the morning on the 8th.
Okay.
Saturday the 8th.
Are they going on a ride or are they just hanging out?
I assume they ride. I don't know.
I'm not a motorcycle person.
Me
but
neither.
Yeah. So, all right. Where do they meet?
At the Legion Hall, the
Okay.
Post 45 off.
Which is where?
It's on
41.
41 just before you get to the Springfield Memorial.
Yeah.
Gardens. Yeah.
But, well, no, the Legion Hall is in Greenbrier as you're
Okay,
going
yeah.
toward Nashville. If you're going out of Springfield, out past the gardens.
I'm sorry, I don't live here.
Yeah, I'm putting her on the spot here. If you go out 41, out past the gardens as you're coming into Springfield, it's there on the right. You can't miss it. There's flags and everything. You can't miss it, but it's there on the right.
Yeah.
But that's where they meet then. Okay, very good. And what else do you have?
Let's see. The American Legion membership meeting, like if you're a member and go, they have a social period and then their monthly meeting. That's on Tuesday the 11th.
Talk to people about what it is to be in the American Legion. What are the requirements of that? So if you want to be in the American Legion, do you
Be a veteran.
well, the American Legion, is that not the people who are related to veterans? I thought the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, is a little different than the American
Yeah.
Legion.
Yeah, I think the American Legion. Yeah, you just have to be related to a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is something that, because I know, if I'm not mistaken, my husband's grandmother was of course, she had all these sons that served. And so she was a member of the American Legion, would march in the parades and all that kind of thing. And I think
Basically,
that's,
if you support veterans, you can attend.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a part of that and really be a support for veterans, the American Legion is a very good thing. But now they also have the Veterans of Foreign Wars that meet there. The,
It's
the
a shared
VFW. Yeah,
hall.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So go ahead. And so the American Legion, you can check that out. What else have you got?
Well, you mentioned the Veterans of Foreign Wars. Their membership meeting is on Saturday the 15th.
Okay. And so, and again, that's self-explanatory. You're a veteran of a
Yes.
foreign war. So,
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
The new-ish program at the American Legion is on Wednesdays. It's the Healing Arts art therapy program, and that's for veterans, spouses, surviving spouses, first responders, and their spouses.
yeah.
So it's kind of an all-encompassing situation.
So kind of explain to them what that is.
Art therapy is an amazing kind of therapy
Yeah.
where you can just get and express yourself on paper, on canvas, And so they have all the materials. There's no cost to it. You just got to show up. It's at 1 p.m. on Wednesdays, and yeah, it's like a class.
So is it every Wednesday?
I believe so.
Okay.
It says
That's really
Wednesdays.
cool. So Wednesday, well, that's really cool because I didn't think it was every Wednesday, but and there's a lot of veterans too that are just trying to find a good connection and just trying to, kind of find themselves again, that they might have some art in them they didn't have any idea they had.
Even just to express yourself is really helpful with your mentally speaking.
Right.
Just a way to get it out on paper, It's good. I think that's a great
I think so
benefit
too.
to
I
them.
think that's really cool. So
My calendar says it's on the 12th and the 26th, so I'm not sure if that's
the 12th
every
and the
other
26th, yeah, I think it's
Wednesday?
every other. I think
Yeah.
it's like the second and the fourth Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep, that's right.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I didn't think it was every Wednesday, but it's from my memory, it's a couple of Wednesdays a month. So the second and the fourth Wednesday is typically when it falls. I tell you what, let me pause for a second and do my break. And we'll come back and continue with our calendar and anything else that you think we need to make the veterans aware of. We are talking about all things Veteran Service Office connected. If you are a veteran, love a veteran, know a veteran, they need to know about our amazing Veteran Service Office. It is the best one ever. And we want to make sure they get plugged in and are taken care of in the way they need to be taken care of. Now, a way you want to get plugged into the real estate game, if we haven't talked a lot about if you want to be mentored to be a realtor. Barry and Rebecca Richards, they are both great examples of doing exactly that. They both came out of different careers. Now, Rebecca, she's one of the first in the area to be a senior real estate specialist. She's been at this a long time. She was she was in radiology, and she was doing real estate part-time and decided she wanted to go full-time. And so she intentionally went through and looked for a company that would check all the boxes for her and give her everything she needed as she stepped into the world of real estate. And that was Exit. And they were forever with the Garden Gate team. But about this time last year, she and Barry took her agency office, his brokerage office, because he also came out of another background. He was a marketer for 17 years up in Nashville, a vice president of a media marketing company. He went full-time about 5-6 years ago now. And he opened a brokerage office here in Springfield. They took those two offices and brought you a new branch in the Exit tree. It's Exit Prime Realty. Same great team, just again, a new branch in the tree. And they'll tell you, if you're somebody that wants to look into real estate as a career, you cannot go any better than working with Exit, and they would love to mentor you and help you along that way. As far as opportunities and things as property that they have for sale, if you'll follow Barry and Rebecca Richards, you're going to see all their latest properties. I'm just looking right now. She's got on Old Cedar Grove Road in Cross Plains. There's some land for sale. There's a lot of people are looking for that land. They want to, build that dream home. They are the ones to talk to, and you can tell them exactly what you're looking for. They'll keep an eye out for it in case it pops up. Now, they're putting up something right now. She just put up a new post that Kentucky has a new 2025 income tax rate. That's going to affect you if you're somebody that wants to live in Kentucky and work in Tennessee. So they're dropping a little bit. That's wonderful. And housing prices are a little more affordable across the state line. Barry and Rebecca are like me. They're originally from Kentucky, so they really understand the nuances of living in Kentucky, working in Tennessee. So they are here in Robertson County. They specialize in Robertson County properties, but they've had such a diverse background, so they buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky because of that background, having been natives of Kentucky. If you want to connect with them, go to sellwithbecky.com, or buy BUYRobertsonCounty.com, or here is Rebecca's number, and you can give her a call. It is 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. As always, please let them know that you turned Robertson County. We are the best one ever. Best one. And they've got the accolades and the awards to prove it. And we are going through the calendar of the different things going on in the month of March, because February, shut the door, man. We're just about done, y'all.
Done with it, yeah.
I know. Shut the door. February is just about over here, just in a few more days. So we'll be right into March. And what else have you got on the March calendar?
Let's see. So on Thursday the 13th, there's the Garden Club. They meet every month at the American Legion Hall. And then we're trying to get more footing for the monthly every third Tuesday coffee and camaraderie meeting. It's being held at the Robertson County Credit Union on Tom Austin Highway. It's from 8:30 to 10, and all vets are welcome, or supporting vets, or what. Yeah. So we'll represent. We're trying to get it moving so that we alternate, kind of like the radio. We're going to alternate months. So Scott, me, or Gwen will be there. Like I said, we're trying to get more groundwork for that.
And just to get these folks just kind of supporting each other. So what is the coffee and camaraderie look like? What time did you say it starts? And are they just coffee, and are we going to have snacks, or is it just coffee and just kind of hanging out?
So far, there's always been donuts, so coffee and donuts provided.
Yeah, there you go.
It starts at 8:30 a.m. and usually goes till about 10. But there hasn't really been a limit on the time, I don't think. It's just they end up talking, and it, usually goes till about 10.
So is there a conference room there that y'all have?
There
or
is.
It's
just upstairs at the credit union.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Because I go in there, I'm a member of the credit union, so I'm just trying to think, where do y'all have it? Like in the lobby, but it's actually upstairs.
It's upstairs. There's table, chairs, etc.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Room.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah, it's a big building. I didn't know it had an upstairs.
Yeah. If you go in the front door, there's an elevator right there, and it's just around the corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I did not realize that. That's very cool.
You should come sometime.
Okay.
See some vets.
Maybe during spring break I can do that.
I heard there's been 10, 12, 15, whatever, but
that's cool.
Apparently last month there was about 30. I'm like,
whoa,
that's crazy. I didn't know.
That is amazing.
I wasn't here, so I was
that's
like, whoa.
Awesome. That is awesome. Very cool.
Trying to get more people to come to that.
And that date again, give it to them.
That is every third Tuesday.
Every third Tuesday.
So next month it is the 18th.
So we'll be on spring break, so maybe I can do that.
There you go.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The only other thing to mention is the spring turkey shoot.
Oh.
I know. It doesn't start in March. It starts the first week of April.
Okay.
So April 5th, and it'll be on the Saturdays in April.
Okay. And that's kind of a new thing, isn't it? I don't think we've been doing the spring turkey shoot, but just a couple of years.
I'm not sure when Terry started. I know it's in the fall, too. So
because traditionally it's been in the fall.
Yeah.
And that's when you would have the turkey shoots. And I'm thinking this has only been in the last couple of years that they've had the spring one. But the spring we have an early, turkey season's coming up right now. We're going to have turkey season on the horizon, and then you have a fall turkey season too. So it kind of keeping with the hunting seasons as well, really. So that works. And what's the parameters on the turkey shoot? How does that work? Kind of unpack it for people if they want to save the dates.
They show up early, like 7 in the morning, and then you draw your number to see what group you're in, type thing. And then they have breakfast and snacks and coffee and all that good stuff.
So again, it's a camaraderie thing. It's a coming together, hanging out with your friends.
And I think Scott usually attends those, so he'll show up.
Okay. Scott, that's kind of his thing then.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's great prizes. I mean, there's just across all ages. There's just all kinds of fun things going on there. But that's happening right there at the American Legion. As you go through Greenbrier, again, that's Highway 41, headed to Nashville, Dickerson Road, whatever you want to call it, Memorial. It's headed out Highway 41. You cannot miss it. Just as you head into Greenbrier, it's there on the right. You'll see the flags, but that's where they have the turkey shoots. And no, they don't shoot turkeys; they shoot targets. It's like some people, it's like
some people are weird about it.
Yeah. You're shooting targets, but and that would be so every Saturday in April.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. Very good. A lot of good stuff going on.
Well, I guess the only other thing I'd like to bring up
Uh-huh.
is what Scott mentioned last month about the and were you the one that was within okay.
Yeah.
Then these organizations, these companies, whatever, that are trying to do the job of VSO but charging our veterans their precious rewards and benefits, and it's so wrong.
It is so wrong.
It boils your blood because it's like, we do this for free.
Mm-hmm.
We're paid by the county so the veteran doesn't have to pay us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to do it for you. Just
Scott
come see us.
specifically mentioned somebody that came in and was like, well, it's just not moving fast enough. Next thing you know, they've hired somebody. He's lost. I mean, it's because you've signed that piece of paper with them. When your benefits do come through, you've lost a chunk of it in a significant, I mean, like I was going to say like 25% or something.
Oh, yeah.
It was an astronomical amount that you're just going to give to them because, you signed a piece of paper. And he told one story about one that was just right on the edge of getting it all worked out. And then they brought somebody else in and he's like, now I can't do it.
Yeah. Once they sign over their representation, we can't look at it anymore.
No.
So
it's just a shame.
And these companies that are coming out now, they're not accredited. They're not trained. We have training by the state. So we're sent for mandatory trainings quarterly, annually. We have the conference. Like, we learn about this so that we can advise properly.
Exactly.
And we're tested in we have credentials to do it.
It's no joke.
No, it's not a joke. It's not an easy job to do well, right? That's why there's definitely good ones out there, but you know what I mean.
Believe it.
There's people trying to just scam you, and it's please don't. And I even tell people for their appeals, you can hire an attorney to do it. Please don't, because the state provides you teams. Like we have the resources and the teams and such to have representation for properly. And they have really good, they have wins, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want you to have an attorney. Don't hire a company. Please just come see us so we can get you pointed in the right direction. Scott wanted me to mention as well that if you're even thinking about filing a claim, you can call the VA hotline number and get your intent to file in. And that's the form that tells VA you're getting ready to file a claim, and that holds the date. And it lasts a year. So they do expire after a year, the intent to file form. But you can call the VA and they can put it in your VA file.
Okay.
And then once you do that, you can come see us, make an appointment, and we can tell you what's next.
Yeah. But you need to go on record. So if you've been out and you're about to hit your year out, you can come in and do the intent to file, and that will help expedite things along the way. Is that
a year out, then you don't need one because you're still within a year of your service.
Yeah.
So,
But what I'm saying is, if say you're at the 8-month mark.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, okay, I know that I've got to get this done. I've got other things. I've got life going on. I'm just, and I know this is going to be an issue, but it's not a huge issue yet, but I need to make sure I go on record. That's when you'd come in and do that intent to file. Would that be right?
As long as we can do it within a year, then it's not needed. But if you're, say, starting this process 5 years later or 10 years later, or you're an older veteran and you've just never gone for your benefits, that's when you definitely need one.
Okay.
So that VA hotline number, that's the benefits line.
Okay.
It is 800-827-1000.
One more time on that number.
800-827-1000.
Okay. And that will get them to the federal line?
That's
Okay.
the VA benefits line. It's national.
Will they then, if they get in touch with them, will they refer them to you?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So they'll still have to contact us and they can tell us, I did my intent with VA. Now I'm trying to, see what's next. What do I need to do now?
Okay.
That's what we do.
Okay. Like I said, this is a lot, guys. And if I say it again, if you know a vet, if you are a vet, if you love a vet, if you see a vet, make sure they know about our Veteran Service Office and all the things that they have going on. This calendar, is that published anywhere where people could just go online and look at the calendar that's coming up? Do y'all have that? Do y'all have a social media? Do y'all have a web page?
We have social media. It's Facebook. Our office has a Facebook page,
Okay.
the Roberts County Veteran Services.
Okay. And do you have the calendar published on that, do you think? Who takes care of your Facebook page?
Gwen does.
It's on there then.
Yeah,
I know
it'll be on there.
Yeah, she'll take care of that. She'll take care of that. But anything else that you want to cover? Lee Marie is in the house, so this is a Wednesday, and she'll be coming in here for the Go Show. You don't want to forget about that. And so you've got another full hour of local programming that you can hear. We have, great programming all the time, but I'm talking about things that are very specific to Springfield, Robertson County. You've got 2 hours of that on Wednesday because she comes in and does the Go Show. So we're thankful for that, and she'll be coming in here in just a minute. But is there anything else that we have forgotten before we wrap up our time together?
I don't think so. Come see us.
Absolutely.
Contact, just see if there's anything, Yeah, I mean, even National Guard guys, sometimes there's something there. What I think National Guard gets confused on is that for VA benefits, they have to have what's called an LOD, a line of duty report for their injuries. So if you're National Guard and you get injured, don't tough it out. Please just go to sick, and get it of record, because that's the only way VA is going to recognize it happened while you were on duty.
So, and that's like if they're doing their weekend and something happens.
Yep.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
do it within like a day, I think. You have like 24 hours from injury or whatever to report it.
I have a friend of mine that son was in the Guard and had a pretty major back injury, and this was during a training, and they just had a time trying to get him any kind of coverage, and a lot of that was because he was in the Guard, he wasn't deployed, he was never active duty, but it was in the line of duty.
Yes.
And so, wow, so you really only have a day to get that reported?
I believe so. I think it's a
Wow.
24-hour period. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. My goodness. Well, that's definitely something you need to take note of if you're going to be in the Guard. Because, I mean, for heaven's sakes, they do some pretty heavy duty stuff when they're training, and you absolutely could have an injury from that.
Yep. But the only way VA knows it's while you were in the line of duty is if you report it.
Okay.
So, yeah. Otherwise, if it's active duty, if something happened to active duty, you were injured, then it'll be in your service record.
Right.
And then we can pull those and see that it happened and file a claim. But
If you got deployed or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But National Guard, report it. Absolutely report it. If you're active duty, report it. Just get everything of record if you can.
Yeah. You got to cross those T's and dot those I's, because without that record, then,
VA doesn't know what happened.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. For sure. Abigail Sacic again with us. We've got just a few minutes here. In these last few minutes, let's kind of end where we started. The new location. We're only about 6 months into your new location. And if you're accustomed to the old location, kind of remind them where you were and where you are now and your hours and those new hours. So let's kind of unpack that one more time for them.
Sure. So we were in the Robertson County building, the big brick building where you get car tags and such. And now we're just across the back street there, Brown Street, in the new Plaza building. It's the one-story building on the corner up there. It says Roberts County Plaza on it. Our hours are 8:30 to, that's cheating hours. It's 8 to 4:30.
Yeah.
I did that yesterday too. 8 to 4:30 and Monday through Friday. Right now, it's remote on Mondays and Fridays, but it's going to be come May, first week of May, it's changing. We'll be there every day of the week, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Yeah. And here's the thing. If even right now, if you call, you're going to get Gwen.
Oh, yeah.
And that's even though she's remote Monday and Friday for just a little bit longer. you're going to get her on the phone because she's the admin person, the administrative assistant, right?
Yes.
And so she's the one that's going to get the phone and going to set you up an appointment. And that's one thing, too. Keep in mind that Wednesdays are walk-in Wednesdays. If you're somebody that doesn't like making appointments and I'm one of those people. I have a hard time setting appointments because my schedule is so fluid. It's just changing all the time that I'm trying to pin me down to say, I want this appointment. It's just difficult for me because I know things just pop up all the time. So if you're like that, they have a walk-in day.
That's why we do that.
That's why they have walk-in Wednesdays. But typically then on Tuesdays and Thursdays are your appointments days, and Mondays and Fridays are your days for research.
Yes. Remote.
So once like you're going to work remote on Friday is the tentative schedule, Scott, on Monday. If you're there on Monday, then are you going to be taking appointments on Monday? Or are you still going to try to make that a day that you do research?
I'm not sure exactly how we're going to work it out yet.
Okay.
I definitely have people though that their day off is Monday. Okay, we'll make an appointment. Like I'll be there.
Sure.
Even now, if we have special cases like that, we'll schedule it.
Yeah,
it has to be scheduled if we're gonna like make a special trip for somebody. But I've definitely done that too.
Right.
So it's call. You don't know. We can make the arrangement to come in.
So there you go. Walk-in Wednesdays, always available from 8 to 4:30. But calling and making an appointment on one of the appointment days definitely going to save you some time because some of these guys can come in, some of these folks, soldiers can come in, veterans can come in, and the conversation you have with them, it takes
a couple hours.
You bet. And you're just sitting there waiting. So
Definitely
it's a lot better if you can come in with an appointment. Lee Marie, can you get on the mic real quick and tell me what you've got planned with Susan coming in? Because we're trying to work it out where you want her to come on my show and then come on yours. Yes. And that's going to be on a Veteran Service Office day, isn't it?
It doesn't, I mean, if she's going to be on both your show and my show, it would be on a Wednesday, but it doesn't have to be, any particular.
Well, but I think we can work that out because they don't mind usually sharing the time. So I think the day you were suggesting, because it's the Wednesday before
yes, that's right.
Vietnam Vets Day.
Yeah, that would be the last Wednesday of the month.
So we might get y'all to maybe come in that 7 to 7:30. That'll be Gwen. You can tell her she'll have to come in early. And then let Susan come in, then 7:30 to 8 because she has a new book.
Yes.
Can you give us a little specifics about that in the last minute here?
I can't, but she can be on your show and then stay for my show.
That's what I'm thinking. So we'll try to work that out. But that'll be something because, our Vietnam Vets Day is just a very important day for all of us. And so that week we'll be building up to that, and that'd be a great thing. So I'll talk to Gwen about that because I think it'd be Gwen's turn to come in. And so we'll just see. But thank you, Abigail, for being with us.
No problem.
Tell them the address again of your office and the phone number as we head out.
Okay. Our new office address is 502 8th Avenue East, right here in Springfield. And our phone number is 615-382-6506. 615-382-6506.
Thank you so much, Abigail Sacic with the Veteran Service Office. Thank you guys for joining us. And stay tuned for another full hour of local programming from Robertson County from our sweet friend Lee Marie and the Go Show. Coming up next, right here on 1100 WSGI. God bless. Have a fabulous day.